Okay, so the first type of non-Mendelian inheritance we're going to talk about is something called codominance. And co means equal, all right? So equal dominance. So I'm going to give you an example here. This is the easiest way to explain it is by way of an example. So in codominance, right, this is the definition of codominance. It is both alleles are expressed in the heterozygote. Both alleles are expressed in the heterozygote. So hetero means different. So heterozygote is just kind of another way to say the heterozygous genotype. So let me give you an example. So in some flowers, not all flowers, but in some flowers, right, big R is red for petal color. Big W, right, is white for petal color. So you know that if your genotype, right, is big R, you know that you are going to have red petals, okay, obviously. And we would describe big R as homozygous dominant red, okay? But big W is also homozygous dominant, but it's white. So this gives you white, okay? And big R gives you red petals. So what would you get if the genotype was one big R and one big W, okay? You would expect, well, hold on, if red is dominant, then you should get red petals. If white is dominant, then you should get white petals. But because they are codominant, they're equal dominant, and it says here both alleles are expressed in the heterozygote, right? What that means is you're going to see both red and white. So what would that look like? Okay, so here is one parent, and here's the other parent, and they are big R, and they are big W, right? Just like we do with other monohybrid crosses, we're going to do our gametes, okay? So these are the parents, and these are the gametes. So that one's going to become a W, and that one's going to become a W. This one here is an R, and this one here is an R, okay? Just like every other monohybrid cross we've done. So I'm going to write an R here, and I'm going to write an R here. This is going to be W, and that's a big W. And this is going to be a big W. So what's going to go in this box here? It's going to be big R, big R. So box number one, big R, big R. What does the flower look like? It's going to be, its phenotype is going to be red, okay? All right, let's look at box number 4, WW. All right, box number 4, big W. What's its phenotype? It's going to have white flowers. The interesting thing is here, because this is going to be RW, okay, and this one is also going to be RW. So what are they going to look like? Well, both of these need to be expressed. So the genotype is heterozygous, big R, big W. What does it look like? All right, these flowers are going to look like they're white. Maybe they got some red marks on them. Maybe they got solid white petals, but what they're going to do is they're going to look, you're going to see red and white petals on both of them. Okay, so codominant, right, means that each of these alleles, the R and the W, are expressed when you have the heterozygous genotype. So the phenotype for these two is going to be red and white. So R and W, this is going to be red and white phenotypes, right? Phenotype, remember that's what the genotype looks like. Okay, now that is pretty straightforward. The most common thing that we talk about when we're talking about codominance is blood typing, which is going to be a separate little video.